Hi everyone. Today is post-transplant day 74 and I can't believe I made it this far already. Yay. I'm sorry. It's been so very long since I've done an update, so I do have a lot of stuff to explain or tell people, and I didn't want to update when I really didn't have a lot of information to give, and I didn't want to just give all negative stuff that's been happening. So I decided to wait, which is why I haven't made an update in so long. As you can see, my hair is growing, and I did make a post how it feels like the down on a baby bird. It's just really, really soft. Ever since I had my transplant, I've had an issue when I was in the hospital with my right ear was hurting pretty bad, where I always hear this whooshing sound. And the best way to describe it is it's like my heartbeat in my ear, like you would have for regular tinnitus, except for mine makes a whooshing sound, kind of like you would hear in a sonogram or an ultrasound, like if you listen out for a baby. It sounds like whoosh, 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 whoosh. And it does it constantly all the time. It's just driving me crazy. Even when I'm sleeping, I can hear the whooshing. And that's because of the narrowing of the blood vessels inside my brain. So finally, they did so much research. I had to go to the emergency room at Mayo at one point. They really couldn't figure it out. And then after like the fourth CAT scan, they found that I had the pseudotumor cerebri, is what it's called, or intracranial pressure inside. And there's a pressure on my head. So at first it started here on my ear, where I felt it inside the hospital in December. And I mentioned it to them. I think I have an ear infection. And they're like, they looked and it looked fine. And then it started moving up and around. So by the time I got out of the post transplant part on the outside of the hospital there, they told me when I got home to see my local ENT. And when they looked in there, they could not find any ear infection. And they were very worried about me having an aneurysm in my head due to a clot from me being off my blood thinners for so long through the transplant process. So, make a long story short, that came back okay, but it showed thickening of the wall in the P1 segment, I believe, if I'm saying that right. So there was things that didn't make sense, and then it's always a waiting game to see a specialist or see a doctor, and it's very hard to get into the neurologists that are there at Mayo, and the ENTs there. So I think I've seen 6 different neurologists, and I still have 4 more to see in the month of March. They're trying to figure out what to do, whether to do a spinal tap and drain the pressure. There's another procedure I have to have done that will go up my thigh, into my heart, and then into my brain to look. It's just like if you had to get, if you had a heart catheter that you had to have done and they had to put in a stent. It's like that, except it goes all the way up to my brain. And in this case, they will see if there's any blockage, because they think I might have a blockage that developed. And I've been having issues where that little tricatheter port that I had, as you can see, it's not healing. And I've had a lot of issues with it still popping up. So there might be something inside that's causing an issue. And especially since we already know that caused my 106-degree fever that I had, as high as. It had to do with the tricatheter, the port that was in me through this procedure. So it's been out for 2 months and it's still not healing there. So there's a few things that have to happen. You can see here on the side of my head, I know it's hard to see, but right where I'm showing you, like I can't touch this side because it hurts very bad. It's like excruciating, like I can't lay on it or anything. But up in here is where it's like a little bubble here underneath. And you can see if you look here, and then I show you this side how much down it is. And then you see this side, you can see how it pops out a bit. And it just hurts so bad. So that's where my fluid, my spinal fluid, it's spinal fluid that's getting in there, is what it's doing, is my body's taking an over amount of it. There's medicine they gave me, and they actually just doubled it as of Wednesday. It's not working. So we're going to have to figure out some other things. And some of the other procedures are way too invasive for me as far as keeping what I had the tricatheter over here, but they do it from a drain that goes from my brain into my stomach, and it stays in there permanently. That ain't gonna happen. My body couldn't take the other thing, so it's definitely not gonna accept that. So then we talked about just having it drained constantly out of my spine. So we're looking into a few things, and I still need to know a cause of why. So I actually think I figured it out, believe it or not, from doing a lot of research. I have a tumor on my neck that I was born with back here, and I always had my pituitary tumor inside, my pituitary gland. And it got as big as 12 centimeters, not 12 centimeters, I'm sorry, 12 millimeters at one point. And through this process of me going through the 2 months of DARA right before my transplant and going through the melphalan, my tumor on my neck went down to at least a third the size because I don't feel it barely as much as I did before. It's very, very small. So I was joking with Lori about, well, if that one can shrink, maybe the one in my brain shrunk too, because at one point they needed to take it out before the myeloma got bad and we had to focus on that. So anyways, it looks like when they part of this problem I'm having is in the books it says that if you have surgery for the pituitary and you were to take out the tumor, that sometimes taking it out can cause the sella, what they call the sella, which is the area in which your pituitary has inside, to collapse from having surgery there and removing something that's been there a long time. So, make a long story short, I came up with a theory. You know me, always thinking about my theories. That just like if that was to happen with surgery, what if my pituitary tumor all of a sudden was gone from the chemo and it just disappeared? Could my cella collapse the same way, which then causes intracranial pressure and can cause pseudotumor cerebri? So, sure enough, when they did the scans, it's gone. So it's not in there anymore, and I have an expanded collapsed sella. So talking to the neurologist, they think my theory might be right on target, and that's why I'm having this happen and why it started happening while I was in the hospital. So pretty neat. I wish I could go back to school and be a doctor, because I'm learning so much from all this stuff. But that's what looks like might be causing my problem. And we can't just put a tumor back inside. So we got to figure out what to do in order to work with this syndrome, what they call, that's happening. And then I'm going to show you my nails. I'm going to try and switch this around. And if you can see, actually, I probably won't let you see it. Let me try and look this way. I don't know if you guys can see the nails here. But on here, my nails got this little thingy that kind of went up, and you can see how it's like purple on the bottom. Well, it started off as a little line, and then now it's gotten to where it's almost my whole finger, and it's like moving up. So somehow it's only on my right hand. It's not on my left hand at all. So it looks like that it might have something to do with my oxygen level. When I thought it had something to do with the transplant, they're still not sure yet, so they're looking into that. But it's on the same side as my body that I'm having the other problems with. Everything's on the right side of my body. So that's kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm at, what I'm waiting for. I'm fixing to do the bone marrow biopsy. Guys, this is a big thing, and March is Multiple Myeloma Awareness Month. So I got a lot going on in the month of March. It is going to be where the bone marrow biopsy after the transplant, when they do what they call the 100-day bone marrow biopsy, they're looking to see if I'm MRD negative. If I am MRD negative, then that means I'm in a temporary, what they call temporary, because you never go into a true remission with multiple myeloma, but I'm in a temporary remission. So that would be great. I am very worried about it because I am showing some signs that the cancer could be returning or be there still. And, just little things dropping again. I showed it an M spike of 0.04. It could be residual though, but we won't know that until we do the bone marrow biopsy. M spike is one that shows that I have the protein that is with the myoclonal gemmopathy. And that means that I have the myeloma protein still in me, which means I still have cancer. So let's just hope that that's just residual and that it's not actual cancer. If I could not reach remission status with a transplant, then that could be quite a problem. And honestly, I don't know if I can go through this whole thing again. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and see. I have to start chemo again the end of the month. I have to continue this trial, the clinical trial I'm in, and we start DARA, the shot, in my stomach, and I have to have it instead of every week. I'll have it once a month for the next year, and then after that year, I'll get a shot of DARA once every 3 months. So I got to start back the chemo, but it's what they call maintenance chemo, and well, we'll find out for sure once I have the bone marrow biopsy. And then I'm also going to be on Revlimid, which is the pills, the chemo pills that you take. But instead of 25 milligrams, it will only be 10 milligrams. And that should try and help it too. So I think that's basically about the most important stuff to tell you. I have lost some of my eyesight in my right eye. It's been real fuzzy because of the pressure. It has moved over to the left eye a bit. Inside, and I get these headaches all the time. And the bad thing about the headaches is nothing works for them. Like ibuprofen or any of this stuff, it doesn't work for them. So I'm just trying to rest a lot and get better and try and just get through the month of March because it's going to be a very big month, and then we'll just see what happens. So I'm trying to stay positive and have a great outlook on it. And once again, one day at a time and see how it all goes. So that's the big update. If you guys have any questions, feel free to private message me because I know there's a lot of my friends out there that also have cancer and are fighting through it. So any questions you have, please feel free to contact me. Thank you, everybody. Sorry about the long update. I had so much to tell you. And I love you all and hope to talk to you soon. Bye.